Status report. Lieutenant Commander Susan Ivanova recording. It is now 8 days since the death of Earth Alliance President Luis Santiago, and 5 days since Commander Sinclair was recalled to Earth without explanation. And the whole place has gone straight to hell.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matt.
And this is
We Are All Kosh.
a Babylon 5 rewatch. I need to come up, I need to go into the thesaurus
Review.
and figure out a bunch of different words for podcast, rewatch. I feel like I haven't been mixing it up lately. I don't know. I'm just falling down on my job. Are you ready to talk about Babylon 5 Season 2, Episode 1, Points of Departure?
AKA Season 2, Shit Gets Real.
Yeah, I guess the working title for this was Chrysalis Part 2, which is probably why they were like, to be continued. Jim has to be like, no, back, put it back.
Not the same.
I can see how this is called Points of Departure.
Yeah.
There are a lot of points of departure from previous episodes in this episode.
Departures both figuratively and
Literally. Sinclair
symbolically.
gone. Sinclair gone. We knew that. And Natoth recast. I love how they were like, Natoth is working. Let's not get rid of Natoth. There was probably no good back way to get her out.
Mm-hmm.
So they just recast her as somebody else. Which is kind of sad because the previous lady Mary Kay does fine, but she's not the Natoth that we've all come to know and love, and that's okay. We haven't seen her yet, but you'll know what I mean. This episode was written by J. Michael Straczynski. That whole sentence is about to become redundant. Pretty sure he writes every single episode from here on out. But it's written by J. Michael Straczynski.
For the entire rest of the show?
I think so. If I'm not mistaken. I'll keep checking.
Right.
To see if I prove myself wrong. Because I also said that we never use Zeta Wing, and we immediately used Zeta Wing in this. Although they have not yet actually been in combat. Zeta Wing has been deployed, but they haven't actually fired a weapon yet. So I'm not 100% wrong yet. I'm like 80% wrong. This was directed by Janet Greek, who did the previous episode too. She did them both.
Okay.
Chrysalis and this one. He must really trust her because he's given her some pretty heavy episodes. Yeah. They also lightened the film. He said they went up one f-stop.
Okay.
So from here on out, it'll be a little bit brighter. And he said they did that because people are putting so much work into the costumes and the sets, and then you can't fucking see anything.
Right.
So he was like, can we just make it like a touch lighter? We introduce Bruce Boxleitner as John Sheridan, and he's going to be our commander character. Hope you like him. He's in every single episode, with a couple of exceptions from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
What's really funny is the last couple times I've watched this through, and I've mentioned this, I was like, oh, you just got to get through Sinclair to get to Sheridan. And I got to admit, I'm sad this time.
You miss Sinclair.
I'm sad. I miss Sinclair. Like, I miss Sinclair's, he's the character I like now in my my elder years. the more like serious, introspective, political, but not political in a manipulative way, just in like a very he's empathetic to the people around him.
Yeah.
That. And Sinclair or Sheridan is a little bit more, he's also political, but political in like I was born to this. Like my dad was a diplomat.
Right.
And so I'm diplomatic, but not in a, I can see your point, I feel for you, but in like
got more of the soft skills than Sinclair.
Yeah, but Sinclair had like raw
Intensity.
And JMS made a mention about that. This episode must have provoked a lot of conversation because I didn't even read all of the stuff because he had paragraphs and paragraphs defending his choice of Bruce Boxleitner.
Mm-hmm.
It was intense. I was like, it was a lot of repetition, making the same points over and over again. So I kind of skimmed it a little bit, but I did pick out some interesting stuff. And one of them was that people felt like this character was going to be a cowboy or a gung-ho. He kept putting gung-ho in quotation marks. Everyone thinks he's going to be gung-ho, quotation marks. And I'm like, is it because it's Bruce and he's got like a slight Southern accent? And so in our minds, he's going to be a cowboy character? I don't know. Because generally when you have a diplomatic character who has a Southern accent, they're going to be your cowboy, seat of your pants, rugged individualist, bucks authority character.
Right.
And I think he wanted to be out of the gate like, no, that's not it. That's how Bruce talks. I don't know what to tell you. He played in Tron with Peter Jurasik.
Yep.
In case anybody's wondering. Peter has like the tiniest little part, but he's in it. And he plays I think he's banking software. He's an actuary program, I'm pretty sure, which sounds exactly like what Lando would never be.
Right.
Actuary program. We also introduce Richard Grove as Kalain. He's the guy who shows up and dies, so he's not coming back. But yeah, I put him down because he was Duke Henry in the Army of Darkness.
Okay.
The one where the guy has a chainsaw hand.
Yep.
Yeah. I haven't seen that.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
I could not pull up an image of him as Duke Henry, but we should watch it because it's been a long time since we've watched any campy horror like that. We introduce Robin Sachs as Hedron. He's the guy that he's on the Grey Council. He shows up and recognizes Kalain, and then he takes the time out of his busy schedule to yell at Sheridan for a little while, and then leaves. Now your commander name is going to get. I know. I was thinking I had the opposite problem at the beginning, and then I got real comfortable with Sinclair. It's because it's the same sound at the beginning, and so in my head they're the same word, so I have to deliberately choose which one to say each time. That's part of how my mind works. But Robin Sachs is a voice in the Mass Effect series.
Oh.
Almost every one. He's Zaeed, Zaeed.
I'm trying to remember who that is.
You probably have to pull up a picture of the character.
Yeah.
But he's in at least 2 and 3. I don't know if he's in 1.
Okay.
He also played Ethan in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think is
the
an
movie?
Evil warlock guy. No, the television show.
Okay.
And then he played in Galaxy Quest as a guy named Saris. He's one of those people that if you saw him out of makeup, you'd be like, oh, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that guy. And then you go to look at what he's in and you're like, wow, everything, but also kind of nothing. He's that guy. Robert Foxworth is the guy who plays General William Hague. And he's labeled as a special guest, which I want to know what's the difference between a guy you get to be on one episode and a special guest. Is there a distinction?
Probably in pay.
That's exactly what it is.
They wanted to pay him more.
Yes, they probably had to tempt him over because apparently he was intended to have a much more substantial role. In fact, they were not sure if for a while he was going to be the Bruce Boxleitner character.
Okay.
But ultimately, they made him this guy named William Hague, and he was going to have a more substantial role, but he declined the pivotal episode that would have established his character in order to be in a 2-episode arc of Deep Space Nine.
Oof.
Yeah. And then later he's killed off screen in Babylon 5. Sorry, bro. You chose the wrong property. He's also the voice of Ratchet in literally every Transformers movie since 2007. If Ratchet isn't a Transformers movie, it's this guy's voice.
Nice.
And he was in a show called Falcon Crest, which I've never heard of in my life. And he was in 155 episodes of it. So it was a long-running series. He was in almost every episode. Never. I have no idea what that is. And continuing that theme, Joshua Cox, who's our new tech number 1, previously was tech number 2. He's the guy on, there was our tech number 1 who'd be like, we have a problem. And then there was tech number 2 who every once in a while would be like, well, she's off, so I'll tell you, we have a problem. He is going to actually get a name this season.
Woohoo!
Lieutenant David Corwin.
Okay.
And he was in 131 episodes of a show called Strong Medicine, which ran from 2000 to 2006, which I have equally never heard of. Never. Well, it's not sci-fi fantasy, so I probably was like, well, I don't care. He's also in an episode of Once and Again. You may not remember Once and Again. Nobody remembers Once and Again. Once and Again and several other TV series are the reason I think it'd be really fun to have a show where we just do television shows that only ran for one season.
Okay.
Once and Again ran for one season, and it was this guy dies and gets brought back in like a genetically perfect body or whatever. And his inner voice is still, who was the husband on the Roseanne show? Roseanne's husband.
John Goodman.
John Goodman. He's John Goodman, but in a new body. And so his inner voice is John Goodman, always. But he's like this young dude. And he lives in the same city as his family because he was an older guy with like a family, and they think he's dead, but he's not really dead. And so it's like him wanting to go back and meet his family, but also he has to do super secret, like, my body is perfect stuff. It's so dumb and it's so good. And he also plays, Joshua Cox, plays in Thor as one of the frost giant Hailstrom. And I bring that up because J. Michael Straczynski has a cameo in Thor because he helped write the first Thor movie. And so he's the guy, the human guy that tries to pick up Thor's hammer after it falls to Earth.
That's JMS?
That's JMS, yeah. And he was like, if you had told me when I was little and spending every cent that I could on comic books that I was going to be in a Thor movie, I would have never believed you. That's really cute. Yeah. This takes place 8 to 10 days after Chrysalis.
Yep.
So it's been a week, roughly, because we get a date stamp at the beginning. It's January 8th.
And Ivanova says it's been 8 days since.
Yeah, but then it takes a little while for Sheridan to arrive on Babylon 5. And the couple of the points that I thought that he brought up in the long tirade of everything that he talked about must have been on the forums, was in this episode, we introduced the idea of the Minbari soul crisis, which is that they believe each generation just gets born again. And when each generation is smaller, those souls are going somewhere. And they haven't figured out where until they realize that some humans have Minbari souls, which according to the Minbari, make them Minbari. This introduces a level of mysticism. We've had a little bit of mysticism, but some of it's like technology indistinguishable from mysticism. Like, is the soul hunter actually capturing souls, or is the soul hunter just mapping a mind at the time of death? Which one is it? We don't know, but we now introduce this idea that an entire culture believes so strongly in the concept of souls being reborn in other bodies.
Because they have technology that can detect it.
Yes, exactly. Right. So apparently this was a big point of discussion about whether this made it still sci-fi or if it now becomes fantasy. And I thought that would be an interesting thing to talk about. Sci-fi
is a subset of fantasy.
Yeah, that's how I think, and that's how you think, that it's an umbrella term of fantasy, and that it's a thing that isn't currently happening. It's not set in our real world. The parameters of our real world do not apply. And so anything that is not set in...
there's something fundamentally different about the world in this story than reality. It's fantasy.
And I think it's important to note that we are not we're genre people and that we tend to stick to the same genres, but we're not like, I only watch sci-fi and I don't like it when you put fantasy in my sci-fi and blah, blah. That's not going to ever be this podcast.
And the same thing gets asked about Star Wars. Is it sci-fi or is it fantasy?
Because of the Force.
Right.
Because the Force is magic. So if you have magic, is it still
sci-fi? Is a German Shepherd a dog? Which one is it?
Here's my feeling. When you limit yourself in this way, when you create these really rigid distinctions, you silo everything. And once you silo everything, it withers because you're only breeding from within the silo. You're not getting new, interesting things injected into the gene pool.
Right.
So why fucking limit yourself? And the only thing he said is, if this story is rigorously sci-fi, but some of the people who inhabit the story have belief systems, does that automatically invalidate it as sci-fi? Like, does everybody in sci-fi have to be at least agnostic? If you believe in a god, now it's fantasy. If a god exists, is it fantasy? Because we are going to come up against some creatures, some aliens that are almost indistinguishable from like a god figure.
Mm-hmm.
And so does that now make it fantasy? And does it fucking matter? I think is the real question here. And as far as my opinion goes, it does not fucking matter because it's a better story. I've always believed it's better when you leave it open,
right,
to add a little bit of fantastical spice, one might say.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's all just computers and technology, meh. But what it does do is introduce the question of, okay, so if it is possible that there is this force that is leaving the Minbari universe, Minbari cycle, and being reborn on Earth, then that implies that whatever energy that is might also be what the soul hunters are capturing.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the soul hunters may actually be capturing what could be termed a soul.
Right.
Does that mean that when the doctor operated on Sean, there is at least some possibility that they were right and that he was no longer a whole person after his skin was cut?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Because who knows how the soul is stored in your body, that it does not transfer out until you die. What if your body evolved to the point where your soul was so loosely attached that even puncturing your skin could release it? It must be intangible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that can be measured. So the doctor wouldn't know. Stephen wouldn't know.
He doesn't have a triluminary.
He doesn't have a way of, he doesn't have a soul hunter there to tell him whether or not the soul escaped. He doesn't have any, and if there's a very good possibility that it's true because soul hunters can sense when someone is getting ready to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is something that they are sensing. Anyway, Dr. Franklin could be even more wrong than we already think he is. And yes, he mentioned this. I don't know if it's ever mentioned in the story, but Sheridan, Commander Sheridan,
Captain Sheridan.
Sheridan is descended from General Philip John Sheridan of the Union Army. So he is a military man all the way back to the Civil War in the United States. And he was on the not fighting for the bad guy side. For anybody who's not in the U.S. Union Army, good. Confederate Army, according to some people, also still good, but not. It's a negative captain. So this is where we start the episode. And right away from the very beginning, we really establish that this is going to be different tonally than the previous seasons. I think Sinclair lended quite a bit of impending doom. His whole vibe was a little like you weren't sure if he was seconds from falling apart or if he had it together.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was wrestling with what role he played in the Earth-Minbari War in the background all the time.
Right.
Sheridan doesn't have that problem. He's not even the least conflicted about like life in general. Sinclair feels like that street cat that you brought in, and they're thankful and they're nice and they eat the food and they drink the water, but they're never quite sure when they're going to get kicked out of the house again.
Mm-hmm.
And Sheridan is just a golden retriever who's always had a family and has no idea what it's like to be on the streets. And I will not be explaining further. This is like when I compared Nick Knight to a house cat. He's just a fat fucking house cat.
Mm-hmm.
Has no idea what it's like to want anything. Because we pick up on the Earth Alliance ship Agamemnon, January 8th of 2259. So the president has been dead for 1 week. And that's it. And he's kind of having a conversation with the planet. We'll swing back by this way in a month. Maybe it's the vegan system. I don't know. He does say he hasn't had any fruit or oranges or anything like that in years because he's been on the rim that long, which means if it is where all of the vegans moved to, they either were not sharing or they haven't figured out how to cultivate fruit yet.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they went full like fruit sugar is bad for you, and so they only eat vegetables.
Was he communicating with the planet? I thought he was communicating with a station.
Whatever is there.
Okay.
The planet or the system he's just sending a message out. He's like, those hijackers so much as blink in your direction, yell, and we'll be here. And they're like, great, thanks. And he's on the Agamemnon.
Earth Force cruiser.
Yeah. It's a new one, too. It's one that was built after the Earth-Minbari War, which is why it looks different. And it has its own jump engine. Because he's like, cool. Open a jump gate. And they're like, great, here you go. Jump point, aye, is what they say. And then he gets a coded message from Earthdome. He's all the way out on the rim. He is having a real-time conversation with Earthdome. They must have faster than light communication technology.
In the previous episode, Ivanova talks about the tachyon relays near Io.
Okay.
And in my head, the way that they do interstellar communication in real time is they have a relay that relays the signal through hyperspace.
Okay.
And then there's like a communication network in hyperspace that links back out through other gates.
Right. And hyperspace is faster, but it's not instantaneous. It's not like in what's the movie with Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne, where they fold the piece of paper and they stab a pencil through it.
Mm-hmm. Event Horizon. It's not like Event Horizon. They're not creating a point-to-point thing. It's a separate space. Right,
so
but for real-time communication, it just needs to be under like 15, 20 milliseconds.
Okay, so it would have to be faster than light and go through hyperspace. Or it'd have to be at least the speed of light or close to the speed of light and go through hyperspace.
Yeah. In
order to get it down to a minimum short enough time to have real-time communication.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is a slight oversight. It would take a long time to communicate that far out. Because he's out on the rim. The edge of known space. And we can still have real-time communication.
Mm-hmm.
But this is from General Haig, the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And that's the guy I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
Ratchet. And he takes it in his office, whatever. So he gets the message. And it's basically like, hey, this is a surprise. Why are you calling? He's like, well, over the last few days, a Minbari warship has been seen in Earth-controlled space in Sector 423/7. And they must all have the sectors memorized because he's like, oh, that's like 2 jumps away from Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like you, and if I give you a date, you'll be like, okay, that was Tuesday. I don't know. It's like magic. I can't fucking figure out how you do it. You can ask me what today is, and I probably couldn't tell you.
I can't just arbitrarily figure out.
You have and have done in the past. Where I'll tell you a date and you're like, okay, that's
I don't have that knack.
There's a couple that are fixed. If you know, there's like a couple of dates that are always on a Wednesday or whatever, no matter what. I can't fucking figure it out. Don't even ask me. I know what today is. I got that. I don't know the date, but I know what day of the week it is. And the guy's like, yeah, exactly. It's really close to Babylon 5, and we have reason to believe they may have hostile intent. And
bum, bum, bum.
Sheridan's like, well, that's great, but like, why are you fucking calling me? He's like, the war's been over for 10 years. Why would the Minbari government launch an attack, and why are you calling me about it? And he's like, they wouldn't. This is a renegade warship. And Sinclair, God damn it, it's going to be so hard. Sheridan is like, oh, you mean the Trigati? Like, it was on his crossword puzzle that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, yeah, looks like it. We've had 3 separate reports of sightings in that area, but it hasn't attacked any of them. But that may change at any moment.
You never know with the Trigati.
I know. And then he's like, well, the Minbari government has dispatched a second cruiser in hopes of finding it, but it may be a while before that arrives. So when it does, I want you to contact them, coordinate the search, help out the Minbari. And Sheridan's like, okay, but like with all due respect, the last time I made personal contact with the Minbari warship, I sent it straight to hell.
General, with all due respect, the last time I made personal contact with the Minbari warship, I sent it straight to hell.
That's why I want you in that part of space, Captain.
Okay. This is a really interesting way to introduce this character.
Right.
This is our first real interaction with the character that is going to replace Sinclair as head of Babylon 5.
Which at this point we don't know yet.
We immediately set him up as antagonistic.
Right. He has a reputation.
He has a reputation and doesn't mind his reputation.
Right.
He's not embarrassed by the fact that he's one of the few people to have ever destroyed a Minbari warship. One of the only humans, I think, to ever destroy a Minbari warship.
Yeah.
So, I mean, except for the one that at first contact. But it's different. It's different. The first one that destroyed a Minbari warship that they were actually trying to destroy.
Yeah.
So, why? Why introduce the character this way?
Conflict.
I think it's to give us a chance to fall in love with him.
Yeah.
Like it's to give us a place
yeah.
to start where we really don't trust the character. None of the characters trust the character.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure right off the bat. And I think it's also to establish that he is not an apples to apples replacement for Sinclair.
Right.
This is not Sinclair with a slightly different ending to his name. This is Sheridan. He will be different. He will have a different set of experiences. He will think about things differently. And it gives us a chance to flesh this character out in a way that...
It gives him a history that we can immediately place him.
And a mind to change.
Yeah.
So he, Sinclair, for as much as I love Sinclair, didn't have a lot of growth.
Right.
He realized things about himself. He had like self-revelations, but he didn't really grow as a character as much as some of the other characters did. And I think that's because we started with him as like fully formed.
Right.
He was already good at what he did. He was already good at questioning authority. He was already good at working his way around corners. And I think he realized that if you're going to have this character and he's going to stick around for the next however long he's going to stick around, he needs to start somewhere, so I have a place for him to go. And I think having him, we don't start out with him on Babylon 5. We don't even know he's going to take over Babylon 5. If you were watching this in real time, you didn't even know Sinclair departed the show.
Right.
And when you come back for season 2, it's like, okay, so Michael O'Hare, yeah, he's gone now. Sorry, we got another guy.
Right. So they have this conversation. We have this conversation with Sheridan, and then Ivanova gets notified that someone's coming.
Well, you can't skip over the whole voiceover part because that's the best part of the entire episode. It's Ivanova walking, and then we get like a Magnum PI or Hawaii Five-0 style like voiceover where she's like, status report, Lieutenant Commander Susan Ivanova recording. It's been 8 days since Earth Alliance President Luis Santiago died. It's been 5 days since Sinclair left, and this whole place has gone straight to hell, which mirrors the earlier statement by Sheridan when he's like, well, I sent it straight to hell. And they're like, well, okay, well, we're going to send you to Babylon 5 and we're going to let you handle the Minbari situation while you're there. And by the way, I have a secret mission for you, ... And it's an interesting, like, okay, I sent them straight to hell. And then she uses the same phrase.
Yeah.
Straight to hell. And it's people yelling at her about seating arrangements and getting their ships docked and getting them unloaded. And
all the stuff that Sinclair used to deal with.
Yeah. And when they get to the end of the transport tube, like we watch them all get on the transport tube and it shuts. And when it opens, they're all lined up against the wall.
Screaming at them.
I know. She's like, as far as I'm concerned, your transports can wait until the sun explodes. And if you're not happy with the seating arrangements, I'll seat you in the fusion reactor. Am I absolutely perfectly clear on all of this? And they're like, yeah, okay. And as soon as she walks away, they start yelling at each other again.
And as far as I'm concerned, the transports can wait until the sun explodes. And if you're not happy with the seating arrangements, I will personally order your seats to be moved outside, down the hall, across the station, and into the fusion reactor.
Am I absolutely, perfectly clear on this?
Yeah.
They didn't want to. They didn't have specific complaints. They just
They did.
time to. They just needed time to interact with Ivanova.
Yeah.
In a
They
confrontational
wanted
manner.
to feel heard. And
Yes.
she told them, I heard you and I don't give a shit. And then she goes, I can only conclude that I'm paying off karma at a vastly accelerated rate, which apparently is something that JMS's wife used to say all the time. So he threw that in there as like a
Homage.
nod to her. Yeah. And then we get the rest of her voiceover, which is a really great way of bringing us all up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess was heavily criticized how much catch up he did in this episode for new viewers.
Right.
And he was like, you can't expect me to start a new season and not have some amount of recap. Because plot-wise, very little happens in this.
Right.
A lot of it really is just introducing the new character and bringing everybody who would have started on this season up to speed. So if you missed all of season 1, you could watch this episode and be ready to continue.
Right.
You wouldn't know all the details, but you'd know enough. And so that's why he did it. And he's like, I guess people criticized him for it. And he was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm going to lose viewers if I don't every once in a while. Give people a place to
You have
stop
to
and catch
recap,
up.
not just for the fans that maybe missed an episode, but also people are just going to drop off and never continue.
Right.
So if you want your viewer base to be sustainable, you have to be approachable by new viewers.
You have to be accessible.
Yeah.
And we actually get 2 recaps. Ivanova recaps twice, because in this one she says that, Garibaldi is still in critical condition. Dr. Franklin's done everything he can, sort of. I mean, we know there's something else he could be doing, but we're not going to bring that up. And then at Delenn, she goes, as for Ambassador Delenn, well, something's going on in her quarters, that's for sure. And then we see the chrysalis with all these little lamps around it because Lanier's been decorating the chrysalis, like signing a cast.
Yeah.
I really hope it's not flammable because that's a lot of open flame next to the chrysalis.
Cocoon.
Cocoon. It's a cocoon. They even call it a cocoon in this one.
They
They're
call
like,
it a
"She's
cocoon in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if he realized between writing the chrysalis episode and writing this episode that, oops, I meant cocoon.
And probably cocoon's just the more common word for it. Cocoon. You're more likely to hear cocoon than you are to hear chrysalis.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's being pedantic and they're like, well, actually, that one's a crystal, like we were in the last episode. But then Ivanova gets a call over her communicator
Yeah.
thing. Is it sticky or do they have magnets in the back of their hands?
Neither. It's little hooks.
It's Velcro.
It's like skin Velcro.
Oh, that's gross. That implies that, okay, it's fine. Can you imagine the feeling when you take it off? The like feel when you rip it off. But she's got a gold channel message from General Haig. So she goes to the briefing room to take it. And he's basically like, look, I really shouldn't be telling you this because it kind of breaks chain of command a little, but like I felt like I should deliver the news to you myself. And that's that Sinclair, he's literally never coming back ever. Sorry. He's permanently been reassigned. And
I hope you said goodbye.
Then we skip to the intro. And this is interesting. They changed the intro up completely. The theme is different. I mean, the overall theme, like the melody, is the same, but they've emphasized different parts of it.
Right,
And
they've re-recorded it.
Yeah, and instead of just remixed it, I guess.
Remix. Yeah.
And instead of just traveling off into space while names show up, we get pictures with the names.
Hooray!
Which is so fun. I like it so much better. But they use some footage from, I think it's The Gathering, where it's not the Zocalo yet, it's the Bazaar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's everybody standing in the bazaar, and it has Bazaar on the back instead of Zocalo, which was an interesting choice. And we actually watched 2 versions of this intro. And in one, they had already replaced Delenn with new Delenn. New Delenn. And then we watched the Tubi version, and the Tubi version had old Delenn.
Right.
Yeah.
So the old one was like a DVD rip. We got, I don't know, from the early 2000s.
When it was not available, when you couldn't find it anywhere.
And that one had long-haired Delenn in the intro, where we haven't even seen her come out of the cocoon yet. So, spoiler. Also, we have Sheridan doing the voiceover of the intro, and at the end of the intro, we see Sheridan, Garibaldi, and Ivanova standing in the CNC window. But at this point, the only thing we know about Sheridan is he's heading to Babylon 5 to help defend against this Minbari cruiser and a secret other thing. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean,
so it kind of spoils it.
But we find out in this episode. So it spoils it, but like a hot minute before you actually find out. Because within 2
Otherwise,
seconds.
they would have had to have another change to the intro.
Yeah, they would have
between
had
episode
and they'd
1
have
and
to
2.
recomposite that CGI shot. It would have been a lot. It's easier just to do it this way. But curiously, interestingly, perhaps, when
you could have had Ivanova do the voiceover
just for one episode.
Just for one episode.
Well, actually, when they did the first season, they let Michael O'Hare watch the intro and do the voiceover with the intro, so that the voiceover would sound like it went with the intro, so he could time when he made his statements with each cutting.
Yeah.
And in this one, they just gave Bruce Boxleitner a page, and he read it.
Oh, okay.
And that's why it doesn't appear to match in the same way. You know what else they spoil? The year the Great War came upon us all.
That's intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's foreshadowing, I think, to hook people.
Right. But
say,
from a certain perspective, it's still a spoiler.
Right.
Because now you know that the stuff that was happening in the last season is going to escalate, and it's going to become a war.
Right.
Yeah. We see new Natoth, too, Mary Kay.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we come back, it's Ivanova still talking to Haig. And she's like, what? I'm sorry. What do you mean you're reassigning Commander Sinclair? Reassigning him fucking where? And he's like, oh, yeah, the Minbari homeworld. He's going to be the first Earth
they
ambassador
like him there.
allowed permanent residence there. And she's like,
not the first human, but the first like Earth ambassador.
Yeah. It's an interesting way to phrase it, considering only the president knows at this point why the Minbari surrendered.
Right.
And maybe a couple trusted individuals, but otherwise no. Because how do you explain that? Well, why'd the Minbari surrender, sir? Oh, was it greater forces of arms? Oh, no. They think they're being reincarnated as us. Ding. It's definitely not because we did a good job or anything.
Right.
We were all going to be... No, they were going to mercilessly slaughter all of us until they realized that by doing that, they would be killing some Minbari. So they didn't actually surrender to us. They surrendered to the Minbari inside us all. Or inside some of us.
Some of us.
Some very specific some of us. But the Minbari specifically requested Sinclair. They've been trying to find someone who can be a good Earth ambassador to the Minbari. Mm-hmm. And then the Minbari were like, quit looking. We found him. It's that guy. But then they can't turn around and be mad that he's now not the commander of Babylon 5 anymore. Because later they're like, we didn't have any part in you being given command of Babylon 5. Well, you did, actually, because you stole the other guy.
Right.
So, in a way, you kind of did. And Ivanova's like, why him? Why Sinclair? Really? Sinclair? I mean, I'm sure it's like, I'm sure he's great at it, but also, really? And he goes, that information is on a need-to-know basis. But don't worry, because I've briefed Captain Sheridan on the situation. And she's like, you mean John Sheridan? Because she's worked with him at the transfer point off Io, which is a busy place. There's a lot happening at the transfer point off Io. You think
that's the spin-off show.
You think they'd give it a specific name instead of just calling it the transfer point off Io?
Right.
You think you'd call it like, I don't know. I can't think of anything. I was trying to think of something witty and all I could think of was Io, which is the name of the moon, which doesn't do any good. She's like, yeah, I worked with him. He's a good man. He's a fine officer, but it's kind of a controversial choice, don't you think? If I may ask. And he goes, yeah, you can't ask. I'm not going to answer that question. He goes, no, I'm not Sheridan. I don't give you information like that. Sorry. Any other further questions will have to go through your new commanding officer. So good day. And then he hangs up. And this is when the Grey Council guy shows up at Delenn's place. And he's like, oh, God damn it. She did it, didn't she? She's in there. And Lanier's like, meh. I mean, no. Nope. She stepped out for coffee. This is an arts and craft project. She took up paper mache. She got really mad and she just threw the whole thing against the wall.
Yep. And she got stuck in there.
Yeah.
She told me not to break her out. She needs a nap anyway.
It's fine. It's fine. She needs a nap. This is the only way she could get you guys to leave her the fuck alone. What is it like the meme about Yoda? Where it's like Yoda's so relatable because he's so tired of Luke asking stupid questions that he
He
just
literally dies.
He just dies. That's exactly what No. See, they think she's trying to fulfill prophecy. She's just trying to get them to stop trying to make her president. She's like, stop trying to make me leader of the world. I don't want to be leader of the world. I already said no.
That's why you're so perfect for it.
My God, you're so dramatic. Did you really make a cocoon to get out of this? I can't help you. Cocoon. Cocoon. He's like, we told her prophecy will attend to itself, but now we're committed to the path. I kind of feel like you were already. That's the definition of prophecy.
It's attending to itself.
Yeah. Prophecy is attending to itself. It doesn't do it, but like it's like the philosophy thing where you're sitting in a chair and it's like, okay, wait for an external force to get you out of the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to get yourself out of the chair. Prophecy needs participation. You have to work for it.
Yeah.
Unless it's like you will do nothing and yet bad things will still happen to you. That's the kind of prophecy you don't have to do anything about.
Mm-hmm.
And is usually the one where when you try to avert it, that's when it happens because you're averting it brings it about. There's several times in this episode where I feel like we're being shown that the Grey Council is not as unified as it likes to think it is. Because this guy's from the Grey Council. Delenn's from the Grey Council. She went fucking rogue and made herself into a beautiful butterfly. And not only that, but she was able to do it because another member of the Grey Council snuck her the Triluminary.
If it's a cocoon, she's a moth.
But if it's a chrysalis, she's a butterfly, so could go either way. Could go either way. Which one is the one where it's their body that hardens? Isn't that the
butterfly, chrysalis?
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
it's
chrysalis
not, it has
is
to
their
be a
hardened
cocoon.
shell. Yeah.
So she's a moth. Damn.
Does that mean she's moth woman?
Why do we always come back to moth people? She's the Babylon 5 Mothman. God damn it. I almost wish she had gotten wings.
Mm-hmm.
Just to... just to really, but no, that's not what's happening. Alas, she does not actually become a moth.
She could have worn fake wings just for the bit.
I know, and be like, I got them, guys, look. And they're like, oh my God, are you fucking serious? She's like, no, geez. No, I just got beep, beep, beep. We'll find out next episode. Actually, we find out in like 3 episodes. It's a while. But he's like, I've spoken with other members of the council. Members of the council. And we've seen the Trigati in this sector. Ba, ba, ba. This is like, it felt like, you know what the whole Trigati thing feels like? They needed him to put a plot in. He just wrote it and they were like, John, nothing happens. And he was like, yeah, a lot happens. They're like, yeah, but also nothing happens. He was like, oh, I don't know. Some random cruiser's going to show up and not shoot at them. And they're like, I mean, if that's what you feel will work, then yeah. Because never before have we, you know what, actually, I think we mentioned the guy that killed himself rather than surrender.
Mm-hmm.
We've mentioned that previously. But we didn't talk about then his whole ship went rogue and for 12 years has just been wandering about the countryside being mad about it.
Right.
And they're going to die mad about it because they can't surrender because #honor.
Right.
So it's fine. It's a fine subplot, but it's also, every time I go through this, it feels so shoehorned in there. Like now they just let it be character development. You wouldn't have to try to fit this in here, but every episode needed a story that could start at the beginning and end at the end.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. Because even this random Great Council guy is like, I don't know, the Trigari or whatever Trigati's been seen around here. If it appears, Lanier, you can go to the humans and tell them what we've told you. He's like, all of it? I was at religious school for like 19 years. It's going to take me a really long time. Can you be more specific? But he just says it's time they knew the truth. And then we go up to the CNC. And this is when Ivanova's like, okay, guys, we're getting a new captain. And I really want an honor guard present. We got to put our best foot forward. He really needs to feel welcome here. And they're like, yeah, he's already here. He just got here. And this is when we meet Tech Number 1, who's going to get a name.
New Tech Number 1.
New Tech Number 1. New old Tech Number 1, promoted Tech Number 2.
Ah.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? And they're like, yeah, no, his transport, it just docked here. So.
There must have been a miscommunication.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oopsie.
Oopsie doodle. He's already here. So she just yeets. She just dips. She's like, So she runs down there. And he's carrying his own bags onto the station and there's nobody there. The guy searching for the Grail got more of an honor guard greeting than he did. And she's like, oh, hello, sir. And he's like, oh, hey.
Which was probably kind of a relief.
I would be happier this way than the pomp and circumstance.
Yep.
He doesn't say anything about it. He's like, I think your unloaders are broken because I had to carry my own luggage. Can you get that to my quarters? And she's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. It's no problem. She calls a random person over.
Yeah, the random person she dragged over so it wouldn't be just her greeting him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, I am authorized to surrender command of Babylon 5 to you. It's your problem now. And he's like, thank you. Yes, it is now my problem. And then she goes to take him on a tour. Yeah. That's pretty much it. And it's fine. We set him up as a
courteous and curious individual.
Yeah. Yeah, the same golden retriever, like, it's fine. I get it. You got busy. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Take me around. I'd love to see it. It's fine. Which I like. I like him as a character. And we're gonna like him a lot better as time goes on. I forgot where he started.
Yeah.
I forgot. And she greets him. She's like, it's good to see you. How was your flight? And he tells her all about oranges. He's like, they had oranges on the transport. Fresh oranges. I haven't had an orange in 2 years. I used to dream about them. Did you? His biggest problem was that he didn't have fresh fruit. And if that doesn't narrow down Sinclair, damn it, Sheridan. If that doesn't narrow down Sheridan as a person when we first meet him, I don't know what else would.
Right. I appreciate his humility.
Yeah.
And deferral.
He doesn't
to Ivanova as the subject matter expert.
And he doesn't stress about things like when we picked up with him, he had run hijackers off of some station.
Right.
He clearly patrolled the rim and took care of it, but like he doesn't lose sleep about raiders. He doesn't wake up at night thinking about people who are trying to take advantage of him. He's like, fucking oranges, man. I would kill for an orange right about now.
So does he have no hole in his mind? Or are there so many holes that he just doesn't notice?
I think he's very in the moment. I think he's a very ADHD. If the problem isn't immediately before me, it isn't a problem.
Yeah.
Because I've forgotten it existed. And then when you put it back in front of me, and I remember everything about it and I can handle it. But once you take it away again.
No object permanence.
Yeah. Except for oranges. Except for like, sensory seeking behavior, like oranges. And he's like, grapes, nectarines, plums, the black ones, not the red ones. It's amazing what 2 years on the rim can do to you. I just want fucking fruit. He goes, I have a hunch I'll be spending a lot of time in hydroponics. And then he's like, okay, so on the way in, I was reading all the station reports, trying to catch up on stuff, but like maybe you can just go over the status with us. And she's like, okay. 1. Chief of Security is in critical condition in med lab. 2, he thinks there's a conspiracy concerning the president's death. 3, Ambassador Jakar has mysteriously vanished.
Uh-oh.
4, we don't know what Ambassador Kosh looks like inside his encounter suit, and it's been 2 fucking years. 5, Ambassador Delenn is in a cocoon. And he goes, a cocoon? As in a moth? Or a butterfly? And she goes, Yes, sir. About yay high.
And Ambassador Delenn is in a cocoon.
A cocoon? As in a moth or a butterfly?
Yes, sir. About yay high.
Interesting place you have here.
He goes, oh, interesting place you have here. Yes, sir. That's all the relevant information from season 1 that needed to be carried over, and it gets conveyed in one little interaction.
One scene, yeah.
Which is great, because if you were a new viewer, that's all you needed to know.
Yep.
Really. You missed stuff, but you know enough.
Right.
And having him come in ignorant of what was happening is
It's
great
a good
way.
new viewer proxy.
Absolutely. And then this guy walks in, and this is the Kieran, which I think is like Kieran Ichiban or whatever.
Kalain?
Kalain, there we go. Sorry, maybe I'm really hungry. Could use some Japanese food. Literally anything other than my own cooking. So, which implies I cook. I cook sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when I feel motivated. I, like Kosh, like to keep things mysterious. But he walks up and he's like, show me this place, to a screen.
The terminal, yeah.
Terminal, and it pops up with a map. And haha, Brown is at the bottom to the left. Brown is at like the far left, like the ass end of the ship.
Yep.
Literally, the brown is the ass end of the ship. It's in slices. So we finally get a map. I could have Googled a map. I know I could have Googled a map. I was waiting for a map.
We needed an in-universe lore explanation. Yeah.
So there's like green, red, whatever. The red sector is for commerce. Green is for diplomatic personnel. And then he just shuts it off and leaves. Because that's all he needed to know is where's the green sector. And meanwhile, Ivanova and Sheridan have made it to, it's going to take me probably half of season 2. We finally arrived at his quarters. And she's like, is this going to be okay? And he's like, oh my God, this is fucking huge. And you have showers? Oranges and showers. These are his 2 major concerns. He's like, with real running water? And she's like, yeah, real running water. And somebody must have asked JMS how a vibe shower works. And he was like, sound waves knock the dirt off of you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. He was like, I don't need to explain this shit to you. But apparently only some people get real showers because they only have so much capacity for water reclamation, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It always reminds me of that one episode of Doctor Who when everybody is stuck in taxis going around.
Oh, yeah.
And like the one group that he lands in there, whatever, she's pregnant and they're hoping to make their exit by the time her baby's in kindergarten. Because they've all been stuck in traffic for so long. And so they offer him some crackers. And he's like, where do you get the food? And they're like, oh, everything gets recycled, even our waste. So it's poop crackers.
Yum.
Yeah. Oh, then he lands in the one taxi that has the guy from Turbo Man. Turbo Man,
Oh, yeah. Thermoman?
Thermoman. Yeah,
Thermoman.
Thermoman from the like really funny British sitcom. You should look it up if you've never seen it. It's like a half-hour show about this guy named Thermoman. It has nothing to do with what he does as a superhero and everything to do about his personal life.
Right.
But he's dressed as a cat. He's like a cat person, and he has kittens because he and his wife just had babies. And so Doctor Who gets to hold some kittens, and it's so cute. Yeah. I think about that episode a lot because they have those little stickers that have different emotions. And so you put the sticker on, like elated or joy or whatever, and it's like a chemical that you feel that emotion when you put this. And that's why everybody died, because they created like contentment or something, and it was a plague. Like it mutated and it killed everybody, and that's why everybody's stuck in traffic.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I haven't watched Doctor Who since David Tennant died, so if I ever mention Doctor Who, you know what era to look in. Christopher Eccleston to David Tennant and no farther. And he turns to Ivanova and he's like, actually, there's this something that, Ivanova is like, hang on. While we're talking about showers, there's something I wanted to ask you, and it's kind of awkward, and I just don't know. And he's like, hey, you've never been worried about being diplomatic before. Don't disappoint me by starting now.
I really like that they have a history.
Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, he does know Ivanova. He gets it because he's like,
Bruh,
come on.
out with it.
I know you, you know me, just ask. And she's like, okay, when I heard there was going to be a change in command, I figured we'd get some high-level bureaucrat or admiral or ambassador or something. And instead we got, and he's like,
You?
me? Yeah, I wondered the same thing. That's what he says. Apparently he was the late president's first choice, which is really interesting.
Right.
Because it means that the previous president, even though he had a history with the Minbari, was willing to select someone he knew would be a controversial choice.
Right.
And did he do it because, as Sheridan says later, they felt that the Minbari had too much influence over the station? Or did he do it because he could see in Sheridan what he
could
will
see the
become?
potential. Yeah.
Yeah.
In my head, he could see the Luis Santiago could see that Sheridan had the potential to run the station really well,
Yeah.
despite his
History.
history with the Minbari.
Well, he's like, I command.
But
yeah.
I think the rest of the Earth government went along with it because at a surface glance, oh shit, what did Luis see in this guy? He's going to run Babylon 5 into the ground.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. Like, that will achieve our goals.
Plus, he's a war hero.
Hell yeah, put him in, because that's something we can say, oh yeah, we're going along with the late president's wishes. It's very respectful. But as far as they are concerned, Sheridan is the worst person for this job,
But also,
which is what they want.
But good in the way they want him to be, which is on the surface, he looks like the kind of person who will not give the Minbari an inch.
Right. And I think that may be why Luis picked Sheridan, because he had the potential, right? Luis could see that, but he would be a palatable choice for all the people who only see war hero, killed Minbari, hardline enforcer, especially given his last 2 years patrolling the rim.
And
They think he's a shoot first, ask questions later kind of guy.
Right.
And they expect him to run the station that way. Surprise, motherfuckers.
I was going to say, later he's going to give a specific Minbari lots of inches. But anyway, a lot of the background conversation that I was reading on the archived forums website was about the fact that they can't target the big ships.
Right.
And yet you can see them. They aren't invisible. So can't you just fire in their direction like you'd aim and fire a gun? And he went off for so long about it. I suggest you go and look it up. He was like, no, that's not how their targeting system works. You can't just aim and fire in the same way. Like, distances can be deceiving. They're farther away than you think. Parts of them are armored. It was long and involved. But Sheridan comes back with, like, I worked with a lot of the non-aligned worlds. I've worked with Centauri, Narn, Minbari.
It's
anyway.
not that controversial once you take more of my history into account.
Right. And Ivana was like, yeah, the Minbari are the ones I'm concerned about. And he's like, I mean, I'm sure they've forgotten all about it by now. And she's like, sir, they call you Star Killer. He's like, yeah, but that was like 12 years ago. I'm sure the Minbari don't have long memories. It's fine. And Ivanova just looks at him and he goes, yeah, I know. I know they're going to remember all about it. And what he did is he just mined an asteroid field, which he says he mined the asteroid field between Jupiter and Mars. And while I do believe there is a belt there, they're not asteroids in the same way. They're not close together.
Right.
So it's fine. That's an instance where you didn't need to aim. Like, you didn't need to aim at all because he just nuked them when they flew by.
Yep.
And he's like, it made sense. But it was also like being stabbed in the back. it's a very underhanded way
Right.
of killing someone,
But
which is probably why they were like, you son of a bitch. You
it's
sucker punched him.
disrespectful. Yeah.
So he sucker punched them is what he did. Anyway, he's still talking to Ivanova and he's like, look, I'm going to need your help for the next couple of weeks because, like, I'm here, I'm in command, but I don't know what the fuck is happening. She's like, well, it can't be any worse than the week after the president died. And you guys took Sinclair away from me. And he's like, yeah, so how's the crew handling it? And she's like, I mean, they're pretty shocked. Like, the reality of it hasn't set in yet. And he's like, okay, but how about you? And she's like, I don't know. I just keep seeing the ship blowing up over and over again because all my life I thought I could fix any problem that I was given. Like, I'm a fixer. I do stuff. I take care of things. And I realized in that moment that there was nothing I could have ever done to stop it. And I don't think I've ever felt so helpless. And he's like, yeah, I know. I feel exactly the same way. And she's like, I mean, since then, I've been trying to be strong because I feel like I need to be the one who looks strong in charge of everybody because I was suddenly given command of Babylon 5. And I guess I don't like to show weakness. I get that from my father, which was an interesting callback.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like,
it's nice to have this moment of vulnerability.
Yeah, where she's
in
like,
a believable way because this guy has been her CO before.
Yeah, she has maybe even more of a history with him than she ever had with Sinclair because we don't know how long she served under him. And she served under him when she was a lot younger, so during a very pivotal part of her career.
Yep.
And he's much more, let's sit down and talk about it. You feel like you can shoot the shit with Sheridan. I don't think Sinclair has ever had a lighthearted conversation in his life. The most joking he would do is when Garibaldi would rope him in on some kind of practical joke.
Yeah.
He's like, she says, with the commander being called back and the ambassadors yelling at each other, and it's just been really a hard time for me, and I haven't had a chance to just like process. But I really hope I've done okay by everybody on the station. Like, I'm happy to see you. I'm glad you're here.
Yep.
And he's like, I appreciate that. And coming from you, it means a lot. I was like, oh, he does know Ivanova. She says, the crew is really looking forward to meeting you. They've heard a lot about you. And, right now they could use something to smile about. And he's like, well, I'm going to take a quick shower, and then I'm going to head up to command and control, and I'm going to give him a good luck speech. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? What? And he's like, oh, it's the same speech I took when I took command on Io, when I took over Agamemnon.
Every time I have a new post.
I like to give him a good luck charm speech. And she's like, oh, okay. And he goes, I always give it within 24 hours of taking a new assignment.
It's a good luck charm.
It's me Lucky Charms. Always after me Lucky Charms. I want to watch Austin Powers with the kids, but I'm also terrified to watch Austin Powers with the kids. I feel like I need a vetting watch because I definitely have tried to watch shows that I watched at their age with them. And I'm like, oh, this is really funny. You guys will like it. And they sit there in horrified silence. I'm looking at you, Ace Ventura. And I am also sitting there in horrified silence.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, who let me watch this? Who? Except, notable exception, George of the Jungle, which canonically is my favorite movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, wow, okay, great. I look forward to hearing it. I'm not sure how I would react if someone was like, I have a speech that I give. It's my lucky speech, and I've given it a bunch of times. I'd be like, I don't know. What is it?
I don't want to hear it.
Can you just, okay, it's fine. She's like, actually, I'll meet you in CNC. I have to do something. And he's like, okay, 20 minutes. I'll be up there. And she's going off to check on Garibaldi.
Yep.
I almost said Galadriel. I don't know why. Probably because we just watched the Dracula. I just watched the 2020 Dracula miniseries on Netflix. It was 3 episodes long. I hate Dracula. This is canon. Everyone who's ever listened to anything I've ever done.
You've been continuously disappointed.
Yes.
In every Dracula portrayal except for
2 notable exceptions. Dracula Untold, because I love Dracula Untold, because the audacity of making Dracula into a superhero. I'll fucking get behind that every day of the week. And the 1979 Dracula. Those 2.
With, what was his name? Frank?
Frank Langella.
Frank Langella.
Those I really, really like. But I'll watch Dracula because I always keep hoping this time it's going to be fine.
Right. This one, this 2020 miniseries, he had a similar vibe as the Frank Langella Dracula.
Yeah, he did, and I appreciated
the
that.
Uncannily charismatic.
Yes, and that's, I think, when Dracula's at his best.
Yeah.
Is, when we're not sticking to, it's a metaphor for how evil immigrants are, which is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And instead it's like, what if you did have a sophisticated nobleman who also happened to be a monster? How would that play out? Anyway, this isn't a Dracula podcast, but I just wanted to pin that on there for a second. I don't remember why. Oh, Galadriel. Because the actress who plays Galadriel in The Rings of Power is in that Dracula show. Okay, that's how I got there. That was the chain of thought process. Anyway, this is when we cut to the Grey Council guy who's chumming it up on the Zocalo. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but Kalain walks by. And he's like, Kalain? Oh my fucking God.
This is the first time we hear the in Valen's name.
Yeah.
Like.
As a curse? Like, Jesus Christ, Kalain?
Like an idiom, an expletive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, in Valen's name, Kalain, is that you? Oh my fucking God, I haven't seen you in forever. And Kalain grabs him and is going to like shank him with his hand crystals, which is good to know that we still can't seem to manage to stop people from bringing weapons on Babylon 5.
Even glowing crystal ones.
Yeah. We don't scan for that. Is that and have a power source? It's fine. And he's like, oh, dude, we don't harm our own kind. We never have. And Kalain's like, maybe it's time we should start. Because the Grey Council has betrayed us. What does a little blood matter now? And the guy's like, we totally did not betray you. And he's like, oh, yeah, you did. No more lies. And this is when he's like, we intercepted a message from the humans to Minbar. They've chosen Sheridan the Star Killer to lead this place. I don't care.
Yeah.
I personally don't care. And the guy's like, I mean, we told him no, but they like did it anyway. So I don't know what to tell you. And he's like, Satai Delenn, did she also ignore you? Does anybody listen to what you say? The Great Council kind of doesn't feel like they have a lot of power at this moment because Delenn did what she wanted. The humans did what they wanted.
Nobody's listening to us anymore.
I know. And he's like, how did you know, actually, that Delenn did that? How did you know what happened with Delenn? He's like, oh, we have supporters even among the council, which means there's yet more upheaval. I thought they had no one who ever dissented from the council ever.
Because they kick them out.
They kick them out, and then they become spy. It's fine.
So then if you do dissent against the council, you have to do it in secret.
Right.
Which only sows more dissent.
Yeah. It's not a great system.
No.
And he's like, yeah, and now Sinclair is on our world. And he's like, yeah, he's an ambassador. And okay, fine, he's an ambassador, whatever. But like the Great Council never tells anyone the whole truth, which is accurate. He's actually
true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Not even each other.
No, not even each other. It's an interesting place to be in, knowing that everyone is always operating in subterfuge and yet always acting as if everyone is telling the complete truth.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's why honor culture doesn't work long term, it turns out. He's like, if you value your life, that's really hard. Value your life. Leave now while you still can. Okay, whatever. And this is when Ivanova goes to visit Garibaldi. And as soon as she walks in, Dr. Franklin is like, hello, Lieutenant Commander. And she's like, oh my God, how'd you know it was me? And he's like, I smell you. He's like, you really think I play with all of these people and I've never played with myself? Sorry. Actually, it's just because it's 2:45 and she always comes by at 2:45. But it's better if he could smell her coming in the door.
I've been capturing the wastewater out of your shower and smelling it.
I distilled it down to a perfume. I sniff it in the morning. It's interesting he doesn't use military time. I mean, not to put us back on track or anything, but he says it's 2:45. You always come by at 2:45. It's not 2:45 a.m., so it must be.
No, it could be 2:45 a.m.
It could be.
if they're on swing shifts.
Yeah, but why would Dr. Franklin be there? You know he works like 4 hours a day. That's it.
Yeah, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.
It's weird that there's a lot of people in Med Bay. It must be a keeping an eye on Garibaldi thing.
Mm.
She's like, how's he doing? And he's like, no change. We managed to stabilize his condition. We dropped in as many regen packs as his body can handle. Now we wait.
But we have not hooked him up to that machine.
We're going to have
because
to let
you
it
guys
go.
still won't give me
We're
the
going to have
key.
to let it go because it's going to come up so often that, like, we could have fixed this. If we just
They
used that
still won't
machine.
give him the key.
Yeah, no, it's on the high shelf and someone stole his, another med bay borrowed his ladder.
Garibaldi stole the key.
Oh, you think so?
Garibaldi has the key to stop
Dr.
to
Franklin.
stop Dr. Franklin from experimenting with
It's a
this.
secret brief just to keep Dr. Franklin from messing with shit.
Yeah,
Especially after that episode where he killed the child.
right. Everybody's watching Dr. Franklin.
They should be, especially after he pulled that shit. He's like, could be hours, days, weeks. If we go by the book, Captain, hours could seem like days. She goes, never? And he's like, yeah, maybe never. He could never wake up. She's like, so we're just going to keep him hooked up like this forever? And he's like, human body's an amazing thing. Sometimes they get better, sometimes they don't. Sometimes I help, sometimes I don't. Just gotta
I'll say prayer for him. He's agnostic. Then I'll say half a prayer.
But I like the thing where he says, there's a debate going on somewhere in Garibaldi's body right now.
Mhm.
Because sometimes the human body can be a miracle, and sometimes it's just too much, and there's nothing you can do to bring it back.
Yep.
And it's interesting that this far in the future, that's still where we're at. Because in Star Trek, it feels like a solved problem. If they can
Right.
survive long enough to get
If you
them
can
to
get him
medical,
hooked up to the machines,
they're going to be fine.
regardless.
They regrow whatever. The doctor gave me a pill and I grew
Regrow
a
a
new kidney.
spine.
The
They
doctor
regrow Worf's spine at one
Do
point.
they- exactly. Well, it's like in Star Trek 4, which is like my favorite Star Trek ever, which is why I'm bringing it up.
Oh,
When-
yeah, the pill
When they go in the past,
for kidney.
the doctor gave me a pill and I grew a new kidney. It's like the best scene. She's just going by in the background, too. Because she's like, I'm here for dialysis. And he's like, dialysis? What is this? The Stone Age? It's so good. They save the whales. Who doesn't like Star Trek saves the whales? My God.
One species of whale.
And then she comes back. Ivanova goes, and yes, one species of whale. Shh, shh. And they only take 2, which is like not enough for tonight. It's fine. You know what? It's the future. We can extrapolate from there. They did more. My favorite. Okay. Don't get me talking about Star Trek 4. Jesus Christ. You know, I'll keep going forever on that one. Computer.
You started it.
Do I pick up the mouse every time I sit down at a computer and go, computer? Maybe.
Sometimes you do.
I watched a reel. The lady was like, anybody ever do this for some reason? And it's like, the earth is round. It's a sweet earth, you might say. Remember that one? Fire the missiles.
Oh, that one.
I am late tired.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. It was like, whoosh, came back to me.
Flash animations.
Yes. It's a pretty sweet earth, you might say.
I used to make flash animations
Did you?
because I had to learn how to do it for
That's where we get the plot
for
device
school.
joke. That's where we get the plot device joke.
Yeah.
It's from, I can't remember his name, but he used to do a bunch of flash animations. And everybody would be like, what is that? And he'd go, it's a plot device. And it was a device that said plot on it. But we come back to Sheridan practicing his speech, even though he's delivered it a bunch, which makes you feel like this is good. I feel like every little moment we get with Sheridan is really interesting because it's all supposed to be illustrating his character, and they've got one episode to do it in.
Right.
Because after that, we're off to the races. So this is like he's a creature of routine and habit, but he's also unsure or self-conscious in a new role. Because even though this is a speech he's given who knows how many times before, he has to practice. He's practicing it before he goes out and does it.
I think he customizes it a little bit each time.
I think it's a speech. He has to give a speech.
Yeah. Well,
And-
I think once he gets into the like Abraham Lincoln section of it, I think that's the
The rote part.
rote part.
Yeah.
But the intro is modified for each role.
Maybe. But he said he's giving his speech to no one. He's like, it was an early Earth president, Abraham Lincoln, blah, blah, blah. Ivanova interrupts him. And she's like, we're ready for you. And he just turns around and walks to the door, which means he was just standing outside the door.
Yeah.
Everyone could hear him inside. Is he gonna come in? Shh, give him a minute. He's settling in.
He's psyching himself
He's
up.
psyching himself up.
I
And
have
so
to do that.
He comes in, they all stand up. And he's like, hey, it's fine. It's cool. As you were. Ivanova doesn't help. She's like, Captain on deck, which never happened for Sinclair. No one gave a shit when he came in. But this is the first time. So that's probably why. And he's like, when I was 21, I visited Tibet, which is what you do when you're the son of a diplomatic envoy.
When you grow up rich.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was about to say.
That's some rich kid bullshit.
This is some rich kid bullshit. Because he's like, yeah, so anyway, when I was 21 and I went to see the Dalai Lama, and I had dinner with him. And I had a simple dinner, which somebody pointed out that this is a factual error because Buddhist monks don't eat after noon. I was like, well, it's been a while. Maybe it's changed. I don't know. It's fine. It doesn't matter. He's like rice, raisins, carrots, steamed, not boiled, and green tea. And when it was over, he looked at me and said, do you understand? And I said, no, because I didn't. This is so awkward. This whole scene is so awkward. If I was in there, I'd be like, what?
This is the improv part.
What?
I bet the rest of the speech is great, smooth.
Yeah.
Like he's got it down. But this is the part he's improvising for this role.
I think he's supposed to feel awkward because none of these people know him. And he's stepping into a very established group. Sinclair inspired a certain type of loyalty and almost like religious devotion, one might say. And he doesn't. He's not the same kind of leader.
Right.
And so he's stepping into an established group who had a very strong leader, and they don't know where they stand with him. And it's a period of upheaval because the president just got killed.
Right.
So a lot is happening. They now have a new guy they don't know anything about. And he's standing up there being like, so that one time I met the Dalai Lama. Anyway, so he was like, do you understand? And I was like, no. And then he was like, that's a great beginning. You get it? Because like you'll be even better when you begin to understand what you do not understand. And I feel like maybe that's the voice I'm going to leave for Sheridan for the whole rest of it. It'll be like my Divya voice. Yes, Father. Because he's like, after reading some of your reports, I'm beginning to understand what I don't understand about Babylon 5. And like, thank you guys for being here. And thank you for being capable. And
like
thank you for being skilled.
That was a good segue.
And anyway, it was an early Earth president, Abraham Lincoln, because that's when he's like, so I said thank you. That's probably in his notes. Tell everybody they're doing a good job. And then quote Lincoln. He best described our current situation. He said, and then they're like, oh, CNC, this is security. We have a... He goes, is there a problem? And bless this woman. She is trying so fucking hard. She has to deliver this line. And it's like, it's the only line she's ever going to be able to deliver on TV. And she wants to fucking nail it. She's like, I'm sorry to bother you, sir, but I've got security on the link. They've got an Mbari demanding to speak to you. It's the least well-delivered line I think anyone has ever delivered on Babylon 5 up to this point.
You think so?
And that's including the TKO episode. He says it's absolutely urgent. And he's like, okay, well, then I guess we'll get back to this later because there's plenty of time for speeches. I got 24 hours. It's fine. So carry on about your business. Lieutenant Commander, which way where do I go? Can you lead me? It's got to be so labyrinthian.
Yeah.
Because everything is gray. It would be so hard to find everything around there.
Right. Especially, it's probably especially disorienting because he's literally spent the last 2 years on a Earth Force cruiser.
Yeah.
That does not rotate for gravity.
It does.
It does rotate for gravity?
Yeah.
But it wasn't cylindrical.
No, it has a big thing. I'm doing the motion and you can't see it.
I'm just trying to remember from the picture, the view
they
that
have
we
like
got.
a big front section where there's probably not gravity. And then the whole middle section is like, it's flat, but it rotates. It's not cylindrical. It's like a
it's
weight
not cylindrical.
that spins around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's used to navigating just like vertically with a narrow cross section.
Yeah.
But now it's
Cylindrical.
and
Yeah.
he's got to readjust, retrain his brain for navigating the station because it's
That'll be hard.
yeah,
Yeah. I get lost.
it's like living in a
Yeah.
1-story house for,
And then you have stairs.
and then you move somewhere and you have stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we come to Kalain, and this section doesn't even matter. He's trying to get to Delenn, and he gets interrupted by a security officer who's like, "Hey, whoa, where are you headed?" And he's like, "Oh, I was trying to get to Brown too." And the only notable part of this section is that we mention a thing called a core shuttle, which
Right.
implies that there are certain tubes that can only go around different sectors, and some that can go from like one sector to another, which means it's like one of those awful hotels where you have to get in the right elevator to be able to go all the way to the
Yeah.
top.
Yep. Which makes
just
sense
adds to the
because different
complexity.
sections of the station are different diameters, so you have different gravity.
Yeah.
And so it would make sense that there's only certain
Tubes that go in certain
things
places.
go between.
Yeah. And then Kalain's like, okay, sure. Judo chop. And he knocks out the guy.
Poor guy.
That's the end of it. And this is when we come to the Minbari guy talking to Sheridan. And he's like, okay, so I met this guy. His name is Kalain. He was second in command on a flagship cruiser during the war with your people, but he's not been seen since the war. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. It's just Kalain's backstory.
Yeah.
You know, if you can catch him, we'll take him. You get him, you nab him, we'll take him back to Minbar. And Sheridan's like, okay, so, wait, hang on a minute. Let me back you up. You said he was second in command on a flagship? Would that happen to be the Tragati? And the guy nods. And this is when Ivanova's like, hold on, hang, what is the Tragati? Thanks for being the audience standing
How do
there,
you
Ivanova.
immediately know?
Yeah, that's weird. There's like a bunch. How'd you even... Why is it named a human-sounding name, like the Black Star or whatever? Why isn't it called a Minbari name? Anyway, it is. It's probably just like the human translation. And the guy's like,
4, 3.
Gato for
Gatti
cats?
sounds like Gato.
The three cats.
3 cats.
It's like in France or in, is it Paris, where they name things like the barfing cat or whatever. They have like funny names for stuff.
I have not heard of that.
Okay, it's a thing where it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like that. And the guy's like, well, it's not something that we really like to talk about, but at the end of the war, when our ships were ordered to surrender, one of our war leaders took his own life rather than obey. And then his crew was like KK and they ran off and became martyrs or whatever, renegades.
Wandered around.
And they've just been, roaming around in self-imposed exile. And, we've heard rumors of them, but we haven't seen them in a while. And so when we finally saw a Minbari cruiser and nobody knew which one it was, I mean, there's only one that it could be. It's not that complicated. So it's the Tragati, Anyway, they believe that they have been betrayed by their own world and yours.
Bum, bum, bum.
And Kalain might be here because they've decided to come out of retirement. And Sheridan's like, there's something I really don't get, though. You said you're from the Minbari Ministry of Culture.
So how do you know a guy like Kalain?
Yeah, so how did you know enough to recognize him 12 years later? And the guy goes, well, I'd answer your question if I recognized your authority.
Ooh.
But unlike your predecessor, my government was not consulted on your appointment. Wasn't the Grey Council a secret?
They're kind of a secret.
Okay. I think they're like we never know who's actually
Like
in them.
Centauri reproductive organs. It's not forbidden knowledge.
It's just not common knowledge.
Right.
Okay. Because we didn't know what the word satai was. Sinclair had to look that up.
Right.
And they're like, might mean she's the member of the Grey Council. So they may know enough to know they exist, but they don't really know who's in it.
Right.
And this is when Sheridan says to this guy that he knows is on the Grey Council, which feels like a deliberate dig.
Mm-hmm.
The president feels the Minbari had too much influence over an Earth outpost. That's why you weren't consulted. Times change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guy's like, okay, well, the day a man such as yourself is given a position of this importance is a dark day indeed.
Which
Okay.
only adds to his reputation.
Yeah. He's like, okay, I mean, I blew up. You guys.
There
you
was
know-
that one time where you were all trying to kill us, and I killed you back,
Yeah.
and you're like, big mad.
You're big mad about it. Like, I'm sorry. You were trying to wipe out humanity entirely. So I blew up one of your ships. Whoopsie doodle. Sorry? Do you know how many humans you guys killed? But I guess at least you killed them, quote, honorably. I don't know. Except that we couldn't fight back. Humanity couldn't even hurt them. And so where was the honor in that? Well, but they consider it a holy war. That's
Right.
why they didn't care.
Yeah.
The guy continues. He's like, we lost many of our best warriors because of you. Great. We lost most of our military because of you. So he goes, we do not soon forget such things. And if there is a doom on this station, it is because you brought it here.
If there is a doom on this station, it is because you brought it here.
Okay, but what if there isn't a doom on the station? Could I have brought that too? What if there's a joy on the station? I like to
Right.
bring that joy.
Why are you talking about Doom on the station?
I know.
Why are you bringing the tone of the room down?
Doom! And he walks out, and Sheridan just looks at Ivanova and is like, oh, he's Grey Council. He's so fucking Grey Council. I could smell it on him. He's like, only a Grey Council guy would have known someone that high in the Minbari warrior caste, because they do not mix. We found out more from Sheridan in the last 5 minutes than from Sinclair in the entire last season.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, they're not happy to see me. They're not happy to see me. They're a prideful people, and the Black Star was their flagship, which is why it made a good target.
Forget.
He's like, that's why it made a good target.
Mm-hmm.
And Ivanova's like, how did you do it? I just heard it was a new maneuver. I didn't hear any specifics. And he's like, oh, no, it wasn't finesse or anything. I literally just put bombs everywhere. And it was huge, monstrous. We tried everything, but none of our weapons would lock onto their ships. It was some kind of stealth technology. He's like, that's when I hit on the idea of mining the asteroid field, what we've already explained. And they just blew up the Black Star and 3 heavy cruisers before they could escape, which means the Black Star was even bigger than the heavy cruisers we've already seen.
Yeah.
He said it was the only real victory in the war, and I'm not going to apologize for it. They were at war.
Yeah.
They were at war. They were declared at war. If he had not destroyed the Black Star would have destroyed them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a thing, no matter, even if from here on out he goes on and becomes friend to the Minbari, it's because they're not at war anymore.
Right.
But when you're at war, you have to act like it.
Right. Nothing personal.
In this situation.
Minbari.
In this situation. If
Yeah.
if the Black Star was running away and he shot it from behind, that's different. But the Black Star was coming to destroy them, and he destroyed it first.
Yep.
He said Kalain feels his world has betrayed him. If that's true, wouldn't his first target be the representative of that world? He immediately goes to who, if I was Kalain and I was on the station, where would I go? Because he doesn't immediately go find Kalain to anybody. He's just like, is Kalain here? Why would he be here? Which I guess is better than just sending teams out to blanket search.
Right.
It'd be faster to know where he's going. So once he's probably Delenn, they send a team there. And not only a team, but also Ivanova and Sheridan both go. Because Kalain shows up at Delenn's quarters and Lanier is standing there, which they're lucky they got there when they did, because Lanier would have killed that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, she's in there, isn't she? Move aside. I'll take care of this. Move aside. And Lanier he's like, shoot me. I don't care. What does he say? If you're going to kill me, then do so. Otherwise, I have considerable work to do.
If you are going to kill me, then do so. Otherwise, I have considerable work to do.
If you're going to shoot me, fucking do it. I got stuff I got to do. And they escort Kalain out because Kalain just stands there with his gun like, oh, I'm going to fucking shoot you. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it so hard. I'm going to shoot you so hard. And Lanier's like, then fucking do it. God.
Which is a good moment for Lanier.
Chitty chitty chat chat. Chit chit chat.
Yep.
This is when they show up. They arrest him. And then Captain John Sheridan tries to make his way over to the cocoon. And
Good
Lanier
job.
just steps over like, hello, hey. You're the new commanding officer? He's like, oh, yeah. I'm Sheridan. He's like, cool. Lanier, the third Fane of Chunomo. Ambassador Delenn is indisposed at the moment. So maybe you can fuck off.
Please give her some privacy.
Maybe you can fuck off. Come back later. Much later. And Sheridan's like, oh, yeah. No, totally. Of course. Absolutely. My mistake. And then they're interrogating Kalain. And this whole part is just like, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. Stuff happens. This is the least, the whole rest of everything that's happening in this episode I'm fascinated with, but the whole Trigati storyline is just like, I don't care. I just, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, right. I forgot about that. I totally dump all the other information. Because he's like, you know, it's really weird. You broke into Ambassador Delenn's quarters. You went to all of this trouble and you didn't shoot her. And we both know you could have shot her and Lanier before we ever got there.
What were you really doing there?
So, like, why were you there? Because everyone knows.
Were you just getting her attention?
Everyone knows Minbari do not kill Minbari. And he's like, perhaps everyone is wrong. Like, maybe we do kill each other now. And I just took.
And we just don't talk about it.
Yeah, we just don't mention it or anything. And Sheridan's like, I think there's more happening here. And he's like, no, you're the problem. It's like, what is that supposed to mean?
Stop it.
This is when Ivanova's like, hey, we're not getting anywhere. Let's wrap it up and try again tomorrow. Ivanova, I love you, but talk about that in the hall.
Right.
Don't do that right in front of the prisoner.
Don't undermine your commanding
he's
officer.
so hard to crack. Look at him. He's like a real tough nut. He's just standing right there. We're not getting through that shell today, sir. Tell me about that outside. This is when Sheridan's like, one more thing. I'm told that the death of your commanding officer, you took control of a Minbari war cruiser. But if you're here, where's your ship? And then they step out, and Lanier's like, pops out of the bushes. He's like, oh, hey, sorry. I was so rude. I am so sorry. But there's something we need to discuss.
He was under a little duress at the moment.
And he didn't want them. He doesn't know this guy. He doesn't know Sheridan. He doesn't know.
Right.
The only experience we've had with any other Earth Force captains up to this point, they were all douchebags.
Yeah.
Like the guy that tried to get on the planet, even knowing the planet would blow up if he tried to get on the planet.
Right.
That is the sampling size that we have.
Right.
So
And I think that's the vibe that the rest of the Earth government has about Sheridan is, he's one of these.
He's going to be one of these guys.
Yeah.
And he's not.
But he's not.
And Lanier's basically like, so what I have to tell you concerns the reason you were sent here and the relocation of Commander Sinclair and the reason we surrendered at the Battle of the Line. So every single question that you had in the entirety of season 1, sit the fuck down because I'm about to tell you, okay?
Right.
They're
a little more backfilling for new viewers.
Really kicking off season 2. What's really nice is it's tying off some loose ends that now, like, we need them tied off to move forward.
Yep.
And they've been a mystery long enough. And I think that was my problem with, like, Severance, is we just kept adding more mysteries.
Right. We weren't resolving mysteries.
You got to give me some solutions. And so we finally get some solutions. And we find out that the Earth Minbari War lasted for 3 years.
Yep.
And it's because their leader was killed by an Earth Explorer division. And it was to avenge Dukat's death.
Yep.
And that they had pursued humanity back to their homeworld, and the few surviving Earth ships that were ordered to defend Earth were not an obstacle, is what Lanier says. He goes, they were not an obstacle. And we get this clip from the Grey Council, and neither Matt nor I could remember if this was a flashback that we had already seen before, or if this was new for this episode.
Yeah, I feel like this was recorded when the original Capture Sinclair scene was recorded.
Yeah.
Because this actor hasn't been seen in a while. The other Grey Council guy.
I honestly don't remember. I don't remember if this has shown up before, because when we get Sinclair's point of view, we wouldn't see this because this is something that he wouldn't have experience with. We'd have to have seen it as a flashback. Because even if he had recovered memories, he's not going to remember the Grey Council before he got even captured and brought in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. What matters is we finally get to see what happened, which is they captured one because Delenn was like, we should grab somebody and interrogate them because we're about to, attack their homeworld. We should know their defenses. And really, she's just like, please, God, give me a reason to end this war.
Right.
And she's impressed by their bravery because she's like, they can't harm our ships, but they continue to try.
It's
and the other
admirable.
guy's like, well, if they don't fight, they're still going to die. So is it really bravery or is it simple desperation? And she's like, maybe they're the same thing.
Yeah.
And so then they're like, okay, Delenn, choose someone to save, but go quick because we're fast running out of candidates. And so she points at Sinclair's ship.
Because it's heading straight toward them.
And then that's when we pick up with Sinclair. He gets incapacitated, brought in. They're like, he was tortured, interrogated, scanned. And it was the first time that the Grey Council would ever have direct contact with a human. They were about to wipe out all of humanity. They had literally never talked to a person before.
Right.
And during the course of the scan, the council discovered something terrible.
Bum, bum, bum.
And they took other humans to confirm it, and it confirmed it. And it's true. And they're like, okay, what is true? Because it's Ivanova and Sheridan like,
Getting impatient.
popcorn. Okay, keep going. No, it's fine. Oh, it's getting good. Ooh, plot twist. They believe that every generation of Minbari is reborn into the next generation. And so if you remove any souls, you diminish the whole. Well, over the last 2,000 years, there have been fewer Minbari born into each generation. And this is my favorite line. Those who are born do not seem equal to those who came before. They're not. We're not.
Just not as good.
Just not as.
So 2,000-ish years was Jesus the first Minbari soul born in a human body.
That's a thing we can discuss later when we find out why. Why the souls are leaving. He's like, at the Battle of the Line, we discovered where our souls were going. They were going to you. They were going to you guys. Minbari souls are being born in part or in full in human bodies. And they're like, you guys stopped the war to avoid harming your own souls? And he's like, correct. That must feel, because they don't know why. They think the spin is that they were so terrified by the last stand of humanity that they were like, oh no, this is terrible. We surrender.
It'd be like reading a skanky police report.
Yeah.
Like covering for all the supernatural stuff. And okay, why'd you surrender? Okay, well here's the story. Let me
So actually
give it to you.
It's because we think you guys are like part Minbari, and so it's enough the percentage is high enough that we would technically be harming ourselves. And since we don't do that, we surrendered. And they're like, okay, wow. Wow. And Lanier's like, yeah, I mean, the council knew that our people and yours were not ready for this information because it could I don't know, unravel our entire society and everything that we believe and stand for. So anyway, we couldn't tell our generals the reason. And we had all memory of the examination erased from Sinclair's mind.
Mostly.
Mostly. As much as you ever can. It kind of reminds me of in Murderbot.
Yeah, he always has residual memories.
Yeah, because you can't quite erase from organic tissue.
Yep.
This is such a Lanier info dump because he keeps going. He's like, then we let him go, and it's been our secret, and now it's yours, and it must be kept. And Ivanova and Sinclair or Sheridan are like, oh my God, why did you just tell us all this? It has to be like, are you going to kill us? And Lanier goes, because changes are coming. Commander Sinclair was the first, and there will be more. And JMS specifically called out this line and was like, I should have made this clear. There will be more changes. There will be more changes. Not that we will be kidnapping people and taking them to the Minbari homeworld. And then we find out something's coming through the jump gate. It's a Minbari cruiser. I'll give you 2 guesses what it could be. It's the Trogati. You're right. You didn't need 2 guesses. You got it. Look, you got it in the first try. How'd you even do that? And they're like, her gun ports are open and target systems are operational. She's on attack vector. Oh, no. Are we going to blow up Babylon 5 in the first episode of season 2? They did say it's the last of the Babylon stations. So at some point, maybe this is what starts the Great War. And then we come to our new below decks crew member,
Warren,
the
who we
fighter
found
pilot.
out about in the intro with the new like little clip.
And I'm always
behind the
shocked
name.
by this guy. Every time he reappears in season 2, I'm like,
oh, it's him.
Really fucking forgot you existed. So he must not stick around long. I don't know. We're going to find out together because I literally never remember him. And I never remember how long he's around. And he's so shoehorned in there. He's just like, they got feedback that said that they felt like we needed to see more people lower on the command chain. And they were like, okay, Warren. Sure, that guy.
Hot shot.
The fighter pilot guy. Sure, it's fine. Because we're not going to have Sheridan running off to pilot ships like Sinclair used to.
Right, because he's not a fighter pilot.
Right. So, yeah, he got a letter from his wife. Or side piece. I don't know. A letter from home is all he says. And she's like, I was having the most beautiful dream. And we was in this beautiful hotel. And there was rose and mint wallpaper. You know how much I love wallpaper. How come you never let me have wallpaper? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. But somebody interrupts him. He's like, hey, Warren. And she's like, it was sunny. And he goes, it's getting so a man can't enjoy a letter from home anymore.
A letter from home.
Is it sensory too? Or is it just a hologram? Why would you wait and watch that downstairs when you're at work?
Right. Why would you watch that in the locker room?
I don't know. You tell me. I've never been in a men's locker room.
You probably have quarters. Like what?
Well, they're like on call because they're like red alert, all whatever.
Yeah, they all gather around the screen with the cruiser incoming.
They put all squadrons on standby, but don't do any actions that might be considered provocative. But they do launch their fighters, and they start sending it towards the Trogati.
Right.
Because there's like, we get to see Warren being like, oh no, I gotta get in my ship. Where's my ship? And they're like, move it. Red alert, all stations, this is a red alert. So they get into the whatever. Meanwhile, Kalain is hanging out, listening to his plan come together. So he remembers the tooth.
Remember the tooth.
Remember the tooth. So he pulls his tooth out. Gross. He just reaches in and pulls it out.
There's some slime in it.
Yeah, he cracks it open and then he just sets it on his tongue. And that's the last we see of him. And then we get a call from the cruiser. And they're like, hey, you're Sheridan. We don't like you. And he's like, okay. It's just so, it's not dumb. It's a fine scene. But really, it's just them being like, you illegally arrested and detained a captain of our vessel. And he's like, your captain came on here and tried to kill an ambassador. I'm pretty sure no one's going to claim I did that I couldn't have arrested him for doing that. And they're like, yeah, well, you're mean.
Pretty much. That's what they say.
And he's like, oh, okay. And then they're like, oh my God, Captain, she's launching fighters. Zeta Wing, prepare to launch. And they're like, Godspeed, Zeta Wing. It's all so dramatic. And
right.
they're heading towards the fighters, and the fighters are heading towards us. And then he's like, actually, don't fire. Because she says, all that remains now is honor and death. And Ivanova goes, I thought I was a pessimist. And
honorary Russian.
Yeah.
Minbari.
And Sheridan's like, that's so weird, though. Is that weird? Did that strike you as weird? And she's like, what? And he's like, how come we can see them on the tracking thing? Is this new? Is this new?
Right. And Sinclair would have picked up on the same thing.
Yeah.
Because he's faced him.
It's good. It's
in
a good
combat.
moment. It's a good, he's competent. He may seem unsure and a little bumbling in terms of interpersonal stuff, but he knows his shit.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hang on, are we using new ones? And they're like, nope, same ones we used during the war. And he's like, then how come we can see them? Because we never broke that. Actually, don't fire.
And the CNC staff may be used to it because Minbari ships probably turn that off when they come to the station.
Right.
So that they can work with the logistics stuff.
And it's been 12 years. Some of these people may not have fought in the war.
Exactly.
It may not be something that's like common knowledge.
Yeah.
And he tells them to just stay there and don't fight. And this is when we get the reason we have Warren, I guess, is to have one point of contact who's our
Has some
fighter pilot.
Skin in the game.
Yeah, so we get to, because right now when a Star Fury goes out and gets blown up, like the guy that died at Babylon 4, we're like, oh, that's really sad. So to try to humanize him, they have to throw in lines where they're like, he had a kid and a partner back home or whatever. But you know, if you actually gave us a character that we knew,
right,
we can bake in caring about what happens to him. And anyway, the Minbari fighters just fly right by, even though Warren's sitting there like, what is happening? If I can't fire, we're just sitting ducks. Okay, well, it's because what the whole point of this was to send Kalain in, get him arrested, have him kill himself in custody so that they could justify firing on Babylon 5. But they needed Babylon 5 to fire the first shot.
Right.
They thought Sheridan would be dumb enough to do
it. Because he's a cowboy Earth Force.
That's what they think
captain.
He's going to be. Which
exactly.
JMS was very adamant. He was not a cowboy.
Right.
And this proves it. He thinks his way through the situation. And he's like, nope, call your bluff. Bluff called. They head back to their ship. And meanwhile, he sent like a single point-to-point transmission into the hyperspace.
Yep.
Just into hyperspace. Because someone was like, you can't just stay in hyperspace. And JMS was like, what? Yeah, you can.
It's like, you can just I literally invented this.
I read a really good book series by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman where they have like a hyperspace. They have a void, fold space or whatever that they can go into. And it's actually so different from our space that it is psychologically taxing to be in it.
Mm.
And so you can only be in it for certain periods of time. There's like an upper limit of time you can be in it.
Yeah.
And over a certain age, you can't travel through it.
I think I remember you mentioning that.
Which is a good way to make the books YA.
Yeah.
Like, believably YA. But it was good. That whole series was really good. It's the Aurora. I think it starts with Aurora Rising because they meet a lady who's been asleep in the fold space for like 200 years. It's good. Anyway, I thought this whole scene was interesting. The whole bluff Trigati thing is one thing, but the lack of trust between like the fighter pilots and even Ivanova and Sheridan is really telling because he's like, they would have obeyed Sinclair without question.
Right.
Don't fire. Okay, you know what you're doing. But instead they're like...
They keep asking for confirmations.
Yeah, confirm it. And then she's not going to confirm it. And he goes, confirm it, damn it. He literally has to be like, God damn it, tell him what I said. I know what I'm doing, is what he says. He goes, I know what I'm doing. And he does, and it works out. And what he did was call in the Minbari cruiser he knew was waiting for the Trigati to show up, and they come out and blow up the Trigati. Well, they cut the Trigati's, they literally cut the Trigati's engine off.
Yeah.
And then it blows itself up. The fusion reactor overreacts or their reactor or their power core or whatever they're using for power blows them up. And they call and he's like, oh my God, thank you for helping us.
And they're like, how rude.
And he's like, the captain is like, gross. I didn't help you.
I can't believe I have to talk to this fucking guy.
Yeah, he's like, you really think I did that for you? I didn't. I don't like you as a person. I don't like you as a concept. I don't like you.
Those people were heroes.
Yeah. They didn't. all that remains is honor and death. They wanted to be destroyed so that they could keep their honor. It has nothing to do with you. In fact, maybe don't ever talk to me again. And I've skipped so far ahead because I cut that whole section out. He goes,
your
their
name
death
will be remembered.
Yeah, he goes, their death will be mourned and your name will be remembered, which is a threat, but also like, so you've heard of me.
My reputation grows.
It's like from Pirates of the Caribbean when he's like, you were the worst pirate, but you have heard of me. That's exactly, that's Sheridan's whole vibe. But you have heard of me. And this is when Ivanova, it's later, time has passed, the whole mess got cleaned up. If you want to know the details, watch the episode. It happens. I'm more interested in what's happening between everybody.
Right.
Because Ivanova goes to Sheridan's quarters. And she's like, I thought I'd stop by, just make sure your things arrived. And he's like, yep, everything's here. All present and accounted for. And Ivanova's like, okay, but you seem a little sad. Like, is there something wrong? And he's like, well, when I got my orders, I really thought this place was going to be a great opportunity. And now I kind of wonder if accepting it was irresponsible. Because this whole mess with the Turgati might not have happened if I hadn't been here. And I want Ivanova to be like, didn't you read the reports? Do you know the shit that has happened here? Yeah, the Turgati totally would have showed up. There's another time when a Minbari cruiser shows up and is going to blow up Babylon 5. Oh, when they thought the body had disappeared. She has to be like, remember that time Delenn stole a fucking body?
And had it cremated?
Had it cremated on Babylon 5 and then tried to sneak the ashes off while a Minbari cruiser threatened to blow us up for losing the body?
Not the first time.
Listen, Minbari shenanigans are top tier shenanigans, okay? No one is responsible for them except the Minbari. And he's like, my presence, my actions in the war, I'm to blame for bringing this trouble to Babylon 5. If there's a doom on this station, it was me who brought it here. And maybe he was right. And then he's like, so I spoke with the president, by the way, and he's the only other human who knows why the Minbari surrendered, which apparently is covered in one of the comics.
Oh, how he finds out?
Yeah, about how the president knows. Backstory information about that is in the comics.
I wonder
Episode issue 1 or whatever. We have to get the comics and read them.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
I'm sure we can find them around.
Yeah.
Lying about the countryside. And he said he doesn't believe this stuff about us sharing Minbari souls. And I can't say that I do either, but they do. Which is an important thing to keep in mind. You may not believe it, but they do. And that's why they chose Sinclair to run this place. And that's why they picked him to live on their world. Him they trust.
But me?
Well, do you know you haven't been tested? You could have a Minbari soul. Has anybody checked? How do you check? He's like, I don't know. If Sinclair had been here instead, they might not have attacked. Oh, they totally would have. Yeah, they totally would have. Ivanova's like, I mean, maybe they would have. You don't know. She goes, there's enough guilt in the world to go around without grabbing for more. So, like, maybe give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, if you ever want to talk about it, she's like, sorry, you're in charge now. Shit gets up to shit here, okay? You're in for a rough ride. Sorry, dog. This is not the Agamemnon. If you ever need to talk about it, I'm here. You know where to find me.
And then we go back to Lanier.
Well, Lanier. And Lanier's talking to Delenn the cocoon. Colen. And he's like, I told them, just like I was ordered to. I only wish I could have told them the rest. Because the Grey Council, most Minbari, I would say, just a general blanket statement, never tell the whole truth. No. He goes about the great enemy that is returning and the prophecy that the two sides of our spirit must unite against the darkness or be destroyed. They say it will take both of our races to stop the darkness. And they say they're going to figure it out on their own soon. And like, I really hope they're right. Because if they're wrong, no one is going to survive our mistake.
Bum, bum, bum.
Good night, Delenn. And he goes to leave. And then we see like a crack open and this goo. Which always reminds me of the inspirational. You ever heard the inspirational statement where it's like, remember, a butterfly has to become goo before it becomes a butterfly? Yep. Well, again, Delenn is apparently at goo stage. And then we get our first external view of the Fresh Air restaurant, if that's what this is. It's like on a spire, and it's a disc thing.
Yeah, is this Fresh Air, though?
I think it must be, because otherwise, there's no other restaurant in the hydroponics area of Babylon 5.
Yeah.
It's not like you could construct a rival. You'd be taking up hydroponic space. You can't do that. So it must be Fresh Air. And they're taking Warren out, Ivanova and Dr. Franklin. How did that friendship It's been 8 days. It has been 8, maybe 10 days since the last time we saw them. And we have never previously ever seen Warren. I just want an origin story for this friendship. I feel like
Sinclair introduced them because Sinclair hangs out with the fighter pilots.
Maybe. I feel like I could swallow it a lot better if you told me where he came from instead of just being like, surprise. They're real chummy with this like minimum wage fighter pilot worker guy. And it's the like head of all medicine on the station. And the person who was given
lieutenant commander.
The person who was given control of Babylon 5 when Sinclair left, and they're best friends with this like the guy that's probably gonna die the next time somebody attacks the station.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's weird. It's fine. I literally don't remember him. Like he always pops up and I'm like, really? And he gets a credit. He's in the opening credits.
Right.
Fucking wild. He's like, I'm not saying I'm mind sitting with my weapons off, but just like the next time it happens, if there's a next time, if you could like explain it to me, I don't have time to explain it to you. You
This
just
is a
follow
battle
orders.
situation.
This is why you have separation of command staff like this, is because no one owed you an explanation in that moment. You just do it. And yet you're best friends with Ivanova. So when Ivanova tells you to do it, you're like, why? I feel like you should explain it to me
buddy,
as my friend. Yeah.
That I might get hurt.
He's like, I just, it would be a good thing from my limited and admittedly subjective point of view. And Ivanova's like, did you catch that? He wants explanations. He wants logic. Logic is a good thing. What it has to do with the Earth Force is anybody's guess. Like, he goes, what does everybody think of our new captain? And Dr. Franklin's like, well, I haven't seen too much of him. I mean, I poisoned his food, so I'm going to see him later. But
I've already scheduled a meeting with him.
Schedule the meeting, quote unquote. But what I've seen of him, I like. And he's like, I think he's going to be fine. Susan? He's also never called Ivanova Susan ever before either. Like everybody's suddenly friends and it's freaking me the fuck out. She's like, I agree. I mean, he was supposed to meet us here for drinks. Like, I wonder not only that, but they brought this fighter pilot guy to meet the commander of the station.
Yes.
I can't with this right now. I need a minute. You're like, I wonder what's
Maybe
hanging
it was
him up.
an open invitation to like a whole bunch of people expecting to have like a couple dozen. And Warren's the only one that showed up.
Maybe. But they're at a really small table. There's only room at the table for one more person.
Right, because Warren's the only one that RSVP'd.
But Ivanova's like, I wonder where he is. And Dr. Franklin goes, last time I saw him, he said something about having a half hour to give some good luck speech or it wouldn't count. That means almost 24 hours have passed.
Yeah.
I want to know if he got to his room, he took a drink from like a pitcher that was sitting on his counter and he passed out. Dr. Franklin like popped up from behind the couch and was like, ha, now we meet.
I scheduled a meeting with you.
And then he woke up like 15 hours later in medbay. Dr. Franklin's like, oh yeah, you were really fatigued from your trip and from all the stress. And he's like, oh my God, that means I have like half an hour left to give my speech. And he ran off. And then Dr. Franklin's like,
what filled up the other 20 hours of the day?
That's what I'm saying. That's why you woke up.
Unless Ivanova's short tour of the station was actually like 14 hours long.
I don't know. That's why Dr. Franklin is the last one to have seen him. And he says he only had half an hour to give his speech. And so he ran up and he has 20 minutes ago, he ran up to CNC to give this speech. And Ivanova just goes, oh no, of all the times he could have picked. And this must be another thing that people were mad about because JMS gave an inordinate amount of attention to the fact that there are periods of time where the CNC is not occupied.
Right.
And apparently there's like an overlap of schedules about every 36 hours where you can have downtime in CNC. Mm-hmm. And it's when it does all of its maintenance and updating and cleaning and whatever. And it's not for very long, but there's a blackout period about every 36 hours. And this is when he happens to be delivering the speech to an empty room.
Yeah.
And it's like there was an early Earth president, Abraham Lincoln, who best described our situation. And I really like this quote, so I'm going to read the whole thing. And by read the whole thing, I mean I'm going to put the quote in here.
It was an early Earth president, Abraham Lincoln, who best described our situation. The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise to the occasion. We cannot escape history. We will be remembered in spite of ourselves. The fiery trial through which we pass will light us down in honor or dishonor to the last generation. We shall nobly save or meanly lose our last best hope of Earth.
But he's like, you know, the dogmas of the past are inadequate for the stormy present is probably the most important section of that speech because it's like the way we have been doing things is no longer the way we can continue to do things.
Yeah.
So who's to say that if Sinclair had stayed, he would have been the commander who should have been in charge during wartime Babylon 5? Because we know from the opening credits, war is coming. So is Sinclair who would have been the best one? I don't know. We'll never know because Sinclair was intended to stay for the whole thing.
Right.
So we don't know how it would have played out.
O'Hare had to leave.
Until he had to leave to get help. And we're going to see him again. Like he's got a couple of cameos. He's not wrapped up till like season 3. Right. After season 3, we'll never see him again. But it is an interesting way because he had to create this new character, pivot the story. And this is what he came up with. And I love that because I love Sheridan. Mm-hmm. I'm going to love him a lot more as time goes on. But I love that he gave him so much room to grow because he really does grow. And we are going to bring up the fact that he is still the only one who's ever destroyed a Minbari war cruiser several times. Mm-hmm. In fact, one of my favorite lines involves it. And we'll get there when we get there. Is way down the line. And don't worry. You'll know because I like it a lot. But he ends it with we shall nobly save or meanly lose our last best hope of Earth. Because we know now that JMS he'll kill off a character. You don't know if Garibaldi is going to come back or not. Like it must have been an interesting...
They already swapped out Sinclair.
It must have been an interesting position to be in, to be watching this as someone who is used to television that doesn't change.
Right.
And then there's that element of uncertainty.
Right.
Something dramatic could happen to Babylon 5. We could lose the war. He let the president die. They couldn't save the president. We don't know how far down the all hope is lost we will go before things start to get better or if they will start to get better, which must have made it incredibly compelling. Still makes it incredibly compelling. But he ends up making his speech with 5 minutes to spare, which means his speech is almost 30 minutes long. Because he already gave part of it.
Yep.
But he had already gotten to the Lincoln quote.
Right?
Maybe it took him a while to get to
CNC from where he just saw Dr. Franklin.
Maybe
it
took him a while to get so he could use his legs again. Why are my legs numb? Oh, I'm sorry. Just a moment. Beep, boop, beep, boop. Removes a device. I found some alien technology. I've been experimenting with it. I hope you don't mind. And that's it. That's the end of the episode. And we're now in season 2. Delenn is waking up. Jakar is missing. And we haven't met any of the other ambassadors yet, but we will. And I'm excited. This is when the story really gets going.
Yep.
Like this one was, he said this was actually a lighter weight episode because he felt like people needed a break between Chrysalis and the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
I get
brace
it.
yourselves.
So brace yourselves. Yep. The storm is coming. The Coming of the Shadows is the name of this entire season.
Yep.
So it makes sense. Well, I guess we could probably leave it there since we hit our 2-hour minimum.
Wow, doesn't feel like 2 hours.
That's because we're just shooting the shit.
Yep.
So we live for the one.
We would die for the one.
Until next time, friends.
Bye.
Bye.